What motivates you?
The challenge, for sure. Like if something's easy and I know I can do it and it's not physically, mentally challenging, then like I'm on to the next thing that's impossible, you know?
How would you describe what the creative process is like for you?
Well, I mean, we live in a world where all the information is right there for everybody to get. Anybody who wants to Google or do 45 minutes of research can learn just about every trade now. At least most of the lingo to sound like they know what they're doing for a blog,
Right.
or a message board. So to cut new grooves and to do stuff that hasn't been done before and figure out new techniques and new processes and new way of thinking and doing things, that's hard now. You know, it's hard to be different, and we're, you know.
How do you do it?
I think just pushing myself, you know. In this shop right here, there's a lot of challenging stuff that goes on. In fact, I figured out a way to forge Damascus steel, you know, like 3,000-year-old technique. And so I make guns out of that now, and make a gun that hasn't been made out of that before. And so,
which you'll spend like days
months
forging a piece of the steel
I just spent
for like one gun.
I just spent a month and a half on a piece for a gun, and it didn't work. I guessed wrong on the last final size, and it was 30 thousandths of an inch too thin.
I understand you can get inspiration from just about anything. I think even a trash can in Paris.
Yeah. I think, yeah, like architecture, like I have a Tumblr blog. I follow a lot of architectural stuff on there and Instagram, and that stuff, like, you know, architectural metalwork and stuff is a lot of great stuff. And I think I don't really have a main source of inspiration, you know. I'm inspired by the guy that, you know, not the guy like me that's on TV for doing a job. Like, I would be irrelevant in 1942. You know, there was factories full of guys that were better than me using these machines. These machines came out of factories like that, they spent, you know, they worked 3 shifts, 7 days a week building airplanes and stuff, and no one thought of them as a hero.
And what about wartime manufacturing and World War II so interests you?
It's just the commitment, you know, like the sacrifice, the commitment. You know, it's the pinnacle of this country banded together for a common cause. You know, we saw evil in the country, and everybody, you know, if you weren't part of that, you were like a communist or you were a Nazi. You know, if you weren't saving plastic and tinfoil and stuff like that for metal, you know, for recycling, you weren't American. You know, like to me, the most pinnacle form of that is the Vallejo shipyard, which was the biggest shipyard in the country, built a Class C destroyer in, I think, 37 days. 40,000 people at that shipyard, and they built a destroyer from flat metal to a launched boat that was headed to Europe, or it's headed to the Pacific in 37 days. So you can't tell me there's some guys that didn't have to like work some free overtime and didn't have to get up on Sunday and work 15 hours and didn't have to sacrifice to like make that happen. You know, and that to me, like, it was the most amazing time. I wish I was around in that era.
What's your fascination with the innovation in manufacturing?
I think it falls in line with that whole figuring out a new way to do stuff. You know, like, you know, I think cutting a new groove and trying to do stuff that hasn't been done before. I have to have one foot in these old machines and old ways. That's what separates me. You know, it's like, I think if people want to hang with what I do, then you have to like develop the skills that I've developed for 25 years. You know, that keeps people from fully copying what I do, you know, is by educating myself and making myself more skilled. And then I have to keep the other foot in like new technology, because if you're not doing the new latest and greatest in some aspect, you're going to get left behind.
For more clips from this interview, visit GrahamBensinger.com.